So what exactly how would you define lucid dreaming? What is it?
Lucid dreaming is when, and there's kind of a few levels, it's when you become aware that you are dreaming. And this is kind of a process of being present. And it helps with waking life presence as well, living in the now moment. And so if you're present enough in your dream and you're paying attention to what's going on, you can accurately assess whether you're dreaming or not. So for the listener, ask yourself right now, are you dreaming? Are you
Mhm.
dreaming?
Yeah, yeah.
And most people would say, no, I'm not dreaming. Well, then the next question is, how do you know? How do you know you're awake and not dreaming? And this assessment of your reality in your state has you pay attention to these things about, okay, am I dreaming? And so a lot of times, and I would say really gullible
Hmm.
during dream time. So a dragon comes and I'm like, yeah, totally normal. Or I'm flying my bed around like a race car. And I'm like, yeah, totally normal. And so if you're just assuming that all this stuff is normal and accepting, you're not applying any assessment of it, right? You're just going along with it. So it is a skill to become aware, and you can use a cue, like Carlos Castaneda Don Juan would say, look at your hands, find your hands in dream time, and that will help you realize you're dreaming and also stabilize the experience for you.
Hmm.
um, Another sort of cue is doorways. When you pass through a doorway, that's just assessing, like, um, you can use that as a trigger for, am I in a dream or not? And this is really cool because you can use the doorway cue in your waking life as well, um, which is a practice that I teach to high performers. So whenever you walk through a doorway, um, in normal waking life, that's when people first see you. Like if you walk into a restaurant
Ah,
or something like that, everyone kind of keeps an eye on who's coming in the door, and they see you and they make their first impression right then and there,
mhm.
right? So however you walk through a doorway, you should know that's the first impression you're giving off. So you might always be smiling and joyful and standing tall and being full of confidence in any doorway. So you can practice this at home so that when you go out into the world, it becomes natural. So there's these little cues you can use in dream time that have benefits in the waking world as well.
That is, yeah, boy, this is so great. You have such a beautiful perspective on things that I've studied, but I haven't thought of them in that way. It's interesting. This lucid dreaming triggers a spiritual aspect for me because being a student of A Course in Miracles, the modern spiritual guide, the A Course actually states that the goal of the teachings of A Course in Miracles is become a lucid dreamer, because it states that we're actually in two states of dreaming. One is during the daytime when we're going about our consciousness, and which is actually a dream, and the other is when we're quote asleep, but we're dreaming in that state. So when you wake up, if you can understand while you're walking about your day and going about things, and you understand it is a lucid dream, it really is. And exactly what you said, you can actually use it to direct your life in better, more beautiful ways. Wow, you have a great perspective. I love it.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah, I always ask people, do you think you're more you when you're awake or when you're dreaming? And
Mm.
uh, I think you probably could guess where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Well, 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 tell the audience though. I might guess it, but
Yeah, there's let's call it this filter of the senses. When you're in the waking state, your consciousness is sort of narrowed through the frame of what your mind and your senses can perceive. So it's like a filter in a sense, or a reducing valve. So consciousness being so expansive, and then in order to accurately get the experience of being alive in a body, it has to be fit into these bands of, your eyes can see certain wavelengths, and your touch and all these, your hearing and everything. So it reduces the noise of the experience, so you can have experience of being alive. But when you're dreaming, that reducing valve goes away, so it's not bound the same way as it is when you're awake. Hey friends, Derek Loudermilk here. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this clip, then there's something else that I want to tell you about, which is a mastermind that I'm running called the League of Superconductors, and it's for the greatest change makers of our time. The intention is to elevate entrepreneurs who are operating at a new level of consciousness. So if you're a spiritual teacher, a healer, a coach, and you're ready to start shifting the earth through your business and operating at both a 3D level and experiencing physical abundance, and also operating at a multi-dimensional level from inspiration and bringing totally new ideas and innovation and messages to people through your work, then that's what this group that I've put together is for. And there's 4 aspects. The Thought Leaders MBA is one pillar, everything you need to know about business, of being a thought leader in this time. What I call the energy experience, or applied metaphysics to your business. And then adventure, the adventure mindset, what it takes to be a leader operating from inspiration. And finally, peak performance, how to get the most out of our physical conditions, our body, our energy levels, our mind, all the different aspects that make us human entrepreneurs. So if that sounds interesting, then I invite you to click the link and find out a little bit more about it. You can also schedule a call, a strategy session with me, where I'll coach you for a little bit and we'll get to know each other, and we can see if you are a good fit for this year's group. We'll be starting in May of 2022. So check it out, and I'll see you next time.